Hello YouTube, all my YouTube friends, Christine here, Skinnybrit to be. I'm coming to you with an update. Oh God, really well overdue. I think I last made a video in February, so I suppose I ought to be ashamed of myself, but life just takes over. So for those of you who don't know, I had a gastric bypass in January 2011. I've lost, how many pounds have I lost? I've under 190 odd pounds. Anyway, I got to a normal BMI of 145-ish last September, and I've been in maintenance ever since. So what's happened weight-wise? Well, I've put on, no, I can't say I've put on. I vary between about 145 and about 152. It just depends on sort of what I've had the previous day and how I feel and how much I've drunk, etc. And it just sort of goes up and down. I must admit it's verging on the higher level. So what do I do now? I still track all my food. I use myfitnesspal. Christine Skinnybrit on myfitnesspal if you want to sort of join me, etc. or see what I've been eating. But one of the things I did find was that I use myfitnesspal to suggest how many calories I ought to be eating to maintain my weight. And it suggested that for my height and my weight and everything else that I should eat 1,500 calories a day to maintain. Well, so I put that into my, because you can choose how many calories, etc., and how many carbs and protein, etc., etc. So I stuck with the 1,500, and what I realised was that I was using that as the level I should eat, not the level that I actually would perhaps normally eat without tracking, etc. So I was always eating up to the 1,500, and then if I had something extra I'd say, well, okay, it's only 100 calories, etc. So I think over a period of time, those extra 100, 200 calories over and above the 1,500 sort of got lost, and so it suddenly dawned on me that I ought to set my goal at, say, 1,300. But I allow myself the grace to know that I could go up to 1,500, but 1,300 should be my goal. And since then, that really seems to have helped, because now my weight has definitely re-stabilised, and in fact is doing the slow creep downwards. So yes, it's very easy to sort of let go. What else? Yesterday I saw a group of pre-weight loss patients at the hospital. I was asked to go and talk to them about my experiences, etc. And they were extremely concerned about excess skin. And before I knew it, I'd actually pulled up my skirt and lifted up my top, and I was, almost to my horror, but not my horror, I discovered that I was showing them what excess skin I had, etc. But the outcome was that they seemed to be highly relieved that it wasn't excess skin where it's going to hang in great rolls, say all the way down your legs and arms, etc. That it was more sort of, with me, most of my loose skin is sort of like long furrows, rather than actually hanging in a loose, pouch at the bottom of my arm, etc. So I don't know whether that's normal with everybody. My stomach hangs, but then there's a lot more of that to hang. But I realised that by doing that, I'd actually realised that my excess skin doesn't actually worry me anymore. I'm quite happy, I just accept that it's there, sort of thing. they were asking about, you know, how my other half, my husband, sort of reacts to it, etc. And I said he's absolutely fine with it. But of course, you know, we have a very solid relationship, etc. I don't know whether, I'm sure plenty of you out there can tell me that it can raise issues. You know, if your relationship is not absolutely 100% rock solid, that might be a sort of bone of contention that actually comes up. So, but anyway, my experience was that I've realised that it's no longer a problem for me. So I consider that a pretty great non-scale victory. So still getting them this far out, etc. I did take a photo my husband took a photo the other day, and I'll tack that on so that you can actually see what I'm like now. What else? Family problems are still there. There's definitely light at the end of the tunnel, but the tunnel's a bit long. Life post-weight loss surgery goes on. I'd seen lots of people talking about making cauliflower rice, and I did experiment with it because I'm quite keen now on curries. But I don't like eating all the rice with it, etc. But I do feel as though I need something more than just some sort of plainish vegetables with it. And so I sort of experimented with it, etc. I put some raw cauliflower in the food processor, chopped it up to about the size of rice grains, added some fennel and a bit of salt and pepper, and simply put it into the microwave for 3 minutes, and it was a very acceptable replacement, lower calorie and lower carb replacement for rice underneath a curry. I shall definitely be doing it again, and if anybody else wants to try it, it's so easy and simple and cooks so quickly and has so many benefits, etc. So yes, so that was something that I tried. I've also been making, I've gone back to making milk jellies again, sugar-free milk jellies with, I'm putting tinned apricots, chopped up tinned apricots in it, which again gives me a very low calorie little dessert or little snack that I can have. That's got a reasonable number of carbs in it, protein in it. Also making quite a lot of my homemade ice cream with custard, low fat custard and zero fat fromage frais, and some sweetener. It definitely needed some sweetener. Got a little ice cream machine. I make up a batch of ice cream, put the little tubs in the freezer, and I have some ice cream that I can have as a very innocent treat again. They work out at a smallish sort of tub. I can't even remember what size the tub is, probably about 3 inches by an inch deep, etc. Not very thick. And that's less than 100 calories. So, and again, lots of protein. So I've been enjoying that as well. Did have a bit of a bad time as well because I was very keen on making cakes. I still am keen on making cakes. But too many of them ended up sliding down my throat instead of other people's throats. So the cakes have had to go on hold for the moment, and so's the bread. But I'm keep on experimenting. I've now gone into more savoury type cookery. As I say, I'm getting quite keen on those curries, and I've made so many now homemade soups with just about every vegetable I could pile into it. And I've become a real fan of fennel. I love the sort of slightly aniseedy flavour of fennel in things. So anyway, I've waffled on. I'll try and remember to post the photo that I took the other day so that you can see what I'm like now. but still in maintenance, still within my goal range. I'm very happy to be here. And in fact, even though my weight has gone up just ever so slightly, I feel actually slimmer. It's as though any spare fat that I did have has been redistributing itself. Oh, and because I'd been having so much trouble with after my gallbladder operation, I was crippled for several weeks, barely able to sort of stand up straight. Sort of February and March. I went back to my doctor and he sent me off for a ultrasound, which came back sort of virtually zero, but he put me on a whole range of anti-muscle spasm and anti-stomach type anti-spasm medicine and anti-muscle spasm medicine, etc. And I took that for 2 or 3 weeks, and touch wood, it seems to have settled an awful lot of it down. But I was absolutely in agony with it. I didn't know what. It was almost worse than I think it was worse than the gallstones. So yes, I didn't feel as though I had a very good ride after my gallbladder operation. Just nothing seemed to want to settle down. But at last, again, starting to feel somewhat better. Able to at least trust going out and not being doubled up in pain all the time. But anyway, that's my update. I've rambled on, but I have done an update and I have told you how I'm getting on. I hope you're all doing really well. Just keep plugging away at it if you're not quite there yet. Just keep going. Afraid it's for life, isn't it? Anyway, bye for now. Bye.